How do I run a Python program in the command prompt in Windows 7? I'm trying to figure out how to run Python programs with the command prompt on Windows 7. I should have figured this out by now. When I typed Python into the command prompt, I got the following error. Python is not recognized as an internal or external command, operable program or batch file. The first place I found when looking for help was this site, this URL. It was somewhat helpful, but the tutorial was written for Windows 2000 and older, so it was minimally helpful for my Windows 7 machine. I attempted the following. For older versions of Windows, the easiest way to do this is to edit the /autoexec.bat greater than file. You would want to add a line like the following to autoexec.bat. This file did not exist on my machine, unless I'm mistaken. Next, I tried this, here, how do I run a Python program? Putting Python in your path windows in order to run programs, your operating system looks in various places, and tries to match the name of the program, command you typed with some programs along the way. In Windows control panel greater than system greater than advanced more than vertical bar environmental variables vertical bar greater than system variables, greater than path. These needs to include, /Python 26, or equivalent. If you put it at the front, it will be the first place looked. You can also add it at the end, which is possibly saner. Then restart your prompt, and try typing Python. If it all worked, you should get a prompt. This was relevant enough for Windows 7, and I made my way to the system variables. I added a variable Python with the value /Python 27. I continued to get the error, even after restarting my computer. Anyone know how to fix this?
You need to add /y. Find the system path environment variable, and append to it a, which is the delimiter, and the path to the directory containing python.x, for example /y. See below for exact steps. The path environment variable lists all the locations that Windows and cmd.x will check when given the name of a command, for example Python. It also uses the pathExt variable for a list of executable file extensions to try. The first executable file it finds on the path with that name is the one it starts. Note that after changing this variable, there is no need to restart Windows, but only new instances of cmd.x will have the updated path. You can type set path at the command prompt to see what the current value is. Exact steps for adding Python to the path on Windows 7 Plus. Computer and GT, System Properties, or Win plus Break, and GT, Advanced System Settings. Click the Environment Variables ... button in the Advanced tab, Edit Path and append, /y. Note that changes to the path are only reflected in command prompts opened after the change took place.
Assuming you have Python 2.7 installed. Go to the Start menu. Right-click Computer. Select Properties. A dialog should pop up with a link on the left called Advanced System Settings. Click it. In the System Properties dialog, click the button called Environment Variables. In the Environment Variables dialog, look for Path under the System Variables window. Add /Python 27 to the end of it. The semicolon is the path separator on Windows. Click OK and close the dialogues. Now open up a new command prompt and type Python. It should work.
It has taken me some effort looking for answers here, on the web, and then in the Python documentation, and testing on my own, to finally get my Python scripts working smoothly on my Windows machines, Winkspin17. So, I just blogged about it and am pasting that below in case it's useful to others. Sorry it's long, and feel free to improve it, I'm no expert. Update: Python 3.3 now includes a Python launcher for Windows, which allows you to type Py, rather than Python, to invoke the default interpreter, or Py-2, Py-3, Py-2.7, etc. It also supports shebang lines, allowing the script itself to specify. For versions prior to 3.3, the launcher is available as a separate download. This URL. Running Python scripts conveniently under Windows. Maybe you're creating your own Python scripts, or maybe someone has given you one for doing something with your data files. Say you've acquired a Python script and have saved it to d:/myscripts \applier.py. You want to run it conveniently by either double-clicking it or typing it into the command line from any location, with the option of passing parameters to it like this. O means overwrite the output file if it already exists. Say you also have a data file, C:\some files \some lexicon.txt. The simplest option is to move the file or the script so they're in the same location, but that can get messy, so let's assume that they'll stay separate. Making sure Windows can find the Python interpreter. After installing Python, verify that typing Python into a command prompt works, and then type exit to get back out of the Python interpreter. If this doesn't work, you'll need to append something like C:\Python32, without quotes, to the path environment variable. See pathx below for instructions. Associating Python with Py and Pyke. Verify that double-clicking on applier.py runs it. It should also have a Python logo as its icon and be labeled Python file. By the way, if this isn't already done, right-click on a Py file, choose Open With, choose Program, and check Always Use. This association improves convenience but isn't strictly necessary. You can specify Python every time you want to run a script, like this. Here's a very specific variation, which is optional unless you need to specify a different version of the interpreter. But that's a pain. Fortunately, once Python is installed, in the path, and associated with Py, then double-clicking a Py file or directly typing it as a command should work fine. Here, we seem to be running the script directly. It's nice and simple to run it on a sample file that's located in the My Scripts folder along with the script. Omitting the Py extension, editing pathx. To further reduce typing, you can tell Windows that Py, and perhaps Pyke files, are executable. To do this, right-click Computer and choose Properties, Advanced, Environment Variables, System Variables. Append Py:\Pyke, without quotes, to the existing pathx variable, or else create it if you're certain it doesn't exist yet. Close and reopen the command prompt. You should now be able to omit the Py. FYI, doing so would cause applier.exe or applier.bat to run instead, if one existed. Adding scripts to the system path. If you're going to use your scripts often from the command prompt, it's less important if doing so via using bat files, then you'll want to add your scripts folder to the system path. Next to pathx you should see a path variable, append d:\myscripts to it, without quotes. This way you can run a script from some other location against the files in current location, like this. Success! That's pretty much all you need to do to streamline the command line. Running directly without tweaking the path. If you're a fast typist or don't mind creating a batch file for each situation, you can specify full paths, for the script, or for the parameters, instead of tweaking path. Creating shortcuts or batch files. If Py is associated with an installed Python, you can just double-click applier.py to run it, but the console may appear and disappear too quickly to read its output, or failure. And to pass parameters, you need to first do one of the following. A. Right-click and create a shortcut. Right-click the shortcut to edit properties and append parameters to target. B. Create a batch file, a plain text file with a distinct name such as applierun.bat. This option is probably better because you can ask it to pause so you can see the output. Here is a sample bat file's contents, written to be located and run from C:\some files. Advanced, appending the Python path. This usually isn't necessary, but one other environment variable that may be relevant is Python path. If we were to append d:\my scripts to that variable, then other Python scripts in other locations could make use of those via import statements.
Python comes with a script that takes care of setting up the Windows path file for you. After installation, open command prompt. cmd. Go to the directory you installed Python in. cdc:\python27. Run Python in the win_add2path.py scripting tools/scripts. python.exe tools/scripts/win_add2path.py. Now you can use Python as a command anywhere.
If you want to see more, please consider subscribing.